Hello, good evening. Nothing fancy here. Just want to show you what 100 pounds of sugar looks like in jars. There it is. I didn't count them all up, but I use my half-gallon jars for my dry canning. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of extra here, getting ready to go into the holidays, coming out of some canning here. So I have my fall canning to do. I wanted to get some sugar put away and put up in my dry pantry. So I'm going to vacuum seal all this sugar here in just a moment. I'm going to show you how I do that. And then it gets stored right along with my canned goods in my pantry. I'm showing you the lids here. If you can see, a lot of these are reused lids. Like that was a 19 off of something, 2019. Here's a beet syrup from 20. So I write on my lids. And what I do, when I do my dry canning and my vacuum sealing, I try to repurpose these lids. I'm not one to repurpose the flats when I am doing pressure canning or water bath canning, but I do repurpose them. I wash them up, repurpose them for the vacuum sealing especially. So I try to reuse as long as they've not been damaged by something being opened. So this is what I had in my little stash in the drawer of opened flats that are being reused that are not damaged from opening or anything like that. A lot of people will ask what I use to open mine. I use one of these, and I forget the technical name, but I think they're called like a church key or something like that. But this is the end I use, the little rounded end. That will open most of your flats without any damage to them. So if you do have an interest in some vacuum sealing, you can repurpose most of the lids that are opened with this method. It doesn't really damage any of the edges of the flat. I may have some that will not like to be vacuum sealed, and that's fine. I have my regular, fresh, brand new flats here that I'll go to finish off the rest of the vacuum sealing. So if I find a jar or flat that doesn't want to seal with the used ones, I have no problem putting a new one on there. These are my attachments for my food saver. So I'm going to be using this food saver. I have it turned on. I'm going to be using the dry setting on a normal pressure. I am going to give you, also show you how I do it. And this accessory light will come on. I'm using this little attachment right here. It's going to go in the top. But what you need are these. All right, so these little handy dandy gadgets I have picked up at a lot of yard sales. As you can see, someone was selling that for $1. Don't try to go to your local store and buy it for $1 because you're not going to get it for $1. But if you look at your yard sales, secondhand shops, thrift shops, a lot of people don't use these, and they come with their machine a lot of times when they buy a package of machine vacuum sealer, that kind of thing. This is just one of the newer but older food saver looks. Can't say I like the stainless steel, as you can see, because it shows every fingerprint, every mark, every scratch. But, you know, it's a great machine. It does a lot of vacuum sealing for us of frozen meats and stuff like that that goes into our freezer. But these little gadgets again. So I'm going to have a wide mouth one that I'm going to use, and I'm going to have a regular mouth one that I'm going to use. Some of them come with extra hoses, just in case your machine doesn't have the pull-out style like this one does. There's usually an attachment area on the food savers that you can attach that cord. This machine just comes with it. My older white machine that a lot of you are familiar with, it does not. You have to use this accessory here and put it onto your machine. So I'm going to get at it and get this 100 pounds of sugar put up. Okay, I brought over one of my half-gallon jars. Like I said, I don't like to pressure can or water bath can in these, so I use a lot of my half-gallon jars for large quantities of dry products like my sugar and my flour, pancake mixes, that kind of thing. So here's my half-gallon jar. Here's one of those reused lids. It says 19 on it. All right, so apparently I canned something in 19 and we just used it up. But anyways, make sure when you're starting any dry canning or vacuum canning that these jars are completely dry. I washed these jars up and had them ready over a week ago. They've been sitting on my counter, air drying. I want no moisture. With that being said, I do not wipe this rim with any type of water or vinegar. Okay, I am going to rely on a finger sweep to make sure there's no grains of sugar on there, and just lay that flat on here. So here's my regular mouth attachment that I was showing you in the box, and it pops straight down on there. All right, I put this right into the hole and push down. Okay, on my setting, all I have to do is push, the seal button. Okay. Well, hang in there. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pause just a second. User error. It's been a little bit since I vacuum sealed, and with the accessory, I had to hit the right buttons. So it's on there. Got my accessory on there. Got my tube nice and tight. I am going to hit the accessory button. Hear that nice noise? Watch my little things go up. It is vacuum sealing that air out of there. That is the sound you should be hearing. These are half gallons. Sorry about that. I know it's noisy. These are half gallons, so it does take a little bit to get that air sucked out. Now, I'm going to give you one of my hints. I don't know that if you go out on Google, it's going to tell you to do this, but I do it 2 times. Research and trial and error. I find I need to do that process 2 times on each jar. So I am going to hit that accessory button again. There it goes. Hear it winding up. All right, so as we undo it, you hear a little bit of that vacuum. I pop this off. There we go. And that flat is on there. Then that jar of sugar, used lid, jar of sugar is going to go in my pantry, and it'll stay there as long as it wants. I don't even consider an expiration date or a use by date. If for some reason you want to add an oxygen absorber, that is fine. I found I don't need to do that. I do 2 vacuums. You can, if you find it's a little bit settled because it's been in the pantry for a while, just use a knife, push it down in, break it up a little bit, and you'll be able to use that whole jar of sugar. So there you go. That is my vacuum sealing. I'm going to continue this process for as long as it takes. So I'm going to put on a TV show. I'm going to keep hitting this button. Alrighty. And accessory, here it goes. That's my first one, and I'll end up doing a second one. Any questions, feel free to reach out.